this video ever begins, I am not bashing John Deere, I'm not bashing Tigercat. I'm stating our opinions and the facts that I know on each machine. I'm not biased either way. I like working with John Deere. I enjoyed working with Tigercat when I was working with them. Each company has their flaws. Each company has their perks. Right now, I prefer running the John Deere machine. So, y'all hang on and enjoy this video here. It should be a good one. Okay, Tigercat 822, well, D. Sorry, keep wanting to say C. Pros, cons, what I like about it, what I don't like about it. What I like about it. The head. I like the head. Some things about the head. This is a Tigercat 5000 bunching hot saw, as some of y'all like to call it. It has the deep thinning pocket, the deep pocket up top, not that slanted thing that the 5500 head has. I wished we could have had the 5600 head on it, but we didn't get it, so whatever. This is still a good head. What I don't like about this head is there's two pros, there's two cons to it. One, I don't like that it don't hold as much wood as my FR50 on the John Deere. I do like that it don't hold as much wood as the FR50 on the John Deere. Let me explain a little bit on that. With this head, when you're cutting in with it, you can cut till the head fills up, throw your wood down, your bundles, because there's less wood, lays out straighter and flatter for you to track over, since we track on top of our wood. When you go to holding as much wood as the FR50 has, you really have to pay attention as to how much you are actually cutting, and throw the head full down before the head gets full to capacity, or else the piles will be too high in the middle and they will hang on the undercarriage right there. It'll hang on the undercarriage of the machine, and then you're scattering wood, and it takes time to kind of knock the piles down with the head. So there's some pros, there's some cons to this head. I don't like how fast the saw turns on this one. It does not turn fast enough. This one runs at 1150 RPM. The John Deere runs at 1250. Actually, this one runs at 1100, and we had them bump it up to 1150, trying to help it out. Saw recovery on this is amazing. It is really good. Prefer the saw recovery on this versus the 853. The saw recovery on the 853 is really close to this. Right now I'm having some slight issues with the 853 on that, and it's a little, the saw recovery is a little down right now. Let's see what else I do not like on the 822, the Tigercat. Your lines all run through this middle, same thing as the 853, but they run through the hole here where the trash packs in right there. And if you don't dig that out sometimes twice a day, it will crush those lines. Then those lines go into a plate right there, and then they go through that dark space in there, and then they run all down through these pillars here that have no access points except for up here, up top, and down inside the cover down there. Unbelievable nightmare if you leave that cover on very long, and then you have to start, or you blow a line, because they'll run all the way from that bottom cylinder there all the way up through here, turn, loop back down, go through, and then come out here. Nightmare, pure hell, dragging those lines back through that thing. after the head gets some age on it, gets some dirt and mud and everything else worked in it that will get in it. Nightmare. Other points I like about the Tigercat. Most all of your grease fittings, like this, underneath your boom here, up in there, you have great access points for your grease fittings, and on all of your cylinders, they are countersunk. Let's see if I can make that brighten up a little bit. No. Okay, well, I'll back out. Y'all can see pretty good that way. You see how that is, the grease fitting is countersunk. Same way here. Yes, you're gonna get some stuff around your grease fitting, but I can count on one hand how many times I have to change grease fittings on this machine for pieces of wood debris getting lodged in the grease fitting itself. That is a big point with me, is it makes the servicing, the greasing extremely easy. Some other things I like about it, I like being able to crawl in and out of the front door. I like the added extra lights that the machine has on it. You have 2 here, you have 1 up there, you have 5 across the front, and then on the side over here you have 3 up there, 1 down here, and then you have 1 out the back there as well. And I think that's it. John Deere has plenty of lights, but you see how these lights are, and these are LEDs, the way they're pointed out. The John Deere stuff is kind of pointed down, and it don't seem to cast light as far. I know you're not working 100 feet from you, but in thinning, sometimes it is nice to see a little bit further down your row when you're thinning in the dark. John Deere, as far as service points in the 822D, they all kind of have basically the same ease of access for grease. Like up in there, that's your, what you would call a bulkhead, I guess, for your grease, for your main boom pin, your knuckle, and your upper cylinder up here, and those 2 rod ends there. John Deere has I'll show y'all that also in a second, but they have a great access point for their greasing. You'll hear that beeping. That is the fire suppression system in this thing. It works, but it's like messing up, and that's something that they're supposed to be fixing but haven't been. Okay, now to the stuff that really just drives me bonkers on this machine, and why I pushed so hard to get an 853. This side door here, it opens and that roof opens, and I have purposely not cleaned the trash off of it to show y'all. I have cut 1 down row. I have thinned 1 row. That's going to be approximately 2 loads of wood come off of it. And you see the trash that is already built up on that hood piece right there. You see the vines and everything that are wrapped up in the center there. And then if you walk around here, you can probably see some hanging off the roof. A little bit, not much yet, but you can see some debris already hanging off the roof. The debris is what keeled us away from buying another Tigercat track machine right now. And I hope Tigercat watches this, because we were, I mean, not trying to whatever, we are the largest first thinning producer in the state of Louisiana, probably a lot of the South. Between our 2 jobs, when things are rolling right, we'll produce 160 to 170 loads a week between the 2 jobs. We've bought Tigercat track shears since 2008. Loved them. I would have never dreamed I'd ever have asked to purchase a John Deere track cutter, ever. But these debris issues, and they keep telling us they're fixed, they're fixed, they're fixed. they're not fixed, guys. It may not be an issue for people with clear cuts, people that cut in the mountains and the leveling machines and everything like that, but you have a core group of people in the South down here that are purchasing in these $500,000 to $600,000 machines that are not getting listened to when it comes to the issues that you have right now that mainly kept us away from purchasing a new one. Because I mean, in the past year we have bought 2 new track cutters. We'd have bought Tigercat if they would have been more willing to listen to the suggestions that we were making for the debris. On that same hand, I will say this: the motor went bad in this machine at like 5,000, 5,500 hours, somewhere in there. Tigercat stood behind that 100%. As much as I like John Deere, I'll tell you right now, John Deere would not do that. That'd just tell you a tough cookie. Like I said, there is some good things with John Deere. There is some bad things with John Deere. There are some good things with Tigercat. There are some bad things with Tigercat. Anything, we have had wire issues, a nightmare of wiring issues with this machine. Tigercat has stood behind them 100%. They've put all the new updates on the machine 100% on their dollar. John Deere, if they had an issue like this one is, I kind of feel if they would take care of you a little bit better, but Tigercat has really went above and beyond what was needed to be done, making sure this machine tried to stay running. It's cost us, I don't know how many thousands of dollars in production with all the issues that it's had, but like I said, Tigercat has tried to take care of the machine. It just, sometimes some things are going to get to a certain point and there's just, you get enough of it, you know. If they would have just took this machine back, and because this was one of the, I think this was the 4th machine sold in the United States of America, being the 822D at the skidder pass. We knew coming into this machine that it was new and it was going to have some issues, and we were fine with that. But after 3 years of fighting it, and they tell us they got a new machine that's kind of got it fixed, but they won't even work with us a little bit on that. You know, they should have done something with this machine. Like I said, I can't tell you how many thousands of dollars in production, probably tens of thousands of dollars in production it has cost us, specifically in the last 8 to 12 months. It has been a nightmare. So that's a little bit about that. The other stuff that I don't like on it is going back to the debris. As you saw how bad that stuff was caked on the machine. They didn't have these steps on the hood. Spin y'all back around here. They did not have those steps on the hood when we first started with this machine. That was something they added on to the machine. So you can kind of get up there and dig and kick most of the trash off of the top of the machine before you have to open it up. The hood opens all the way up on the machine, and it before you had these steps here, you couldn't get up there and knock it off. So when you would open the hood, I've seen Tim's videos, and they have the same issue with their machine. You'll open the hood and all the trash and the vines and everything like that, it just falls down in on top of the engine, the muffler, and it just falls all in back there. And then you got to get back there and dig all that mess out. Other than that, get over here where I can show y'all a little bit better. Okay, so y'all see this little sliding looking mechanism that's bolted on top of the boom right there above the Tigercat. Y'all should be able to see that pretty good in video. Okay, so that was an add-on piece from Tigercat. That is the second piece, the second design of that they've put on. Whenever they first delivered the machine, it had a rubber hoop up there, rubber strap, whatever you want to call it. And it's not as bad now as what it was, but it is still not like it should be. When they first delivered it with that rubber hoop, it would collect the pine straw inside underneath this little slider doohickey here, and it would literally crush the pine straw and bale it into a bale, like a pine straw bale, almost like a bale of hay, and it would crush it down in there, and then it would start crushing it even more. It didn't matter, it would do it in a day's time. You could not stay on top of it enough to keep it dug out. Then it would crush it into like a powder almost, and then shove it down in there on top of your turn motors and everything underneath the boom, and then it started filling up the back. Our machine is not the only one that has done this. There are several in our region that have done this, and they know that. That's why they have designed this little slider thing. That is what killed us from the Tigercat stuff right there, because then it started crushing wires and hydraulic hoses, and it crushed hydraulic filters that they had back there, and man, it snowballed. It was horrible. It's I have pictures of it. This one may be a little bit better. I honestly haven't been up there to look much on it, because this is like the second time I've seen it since they put that new slider on there. I will point out that, zoom in a little bit. Alright, so you see you got your top piece here and then your bottom piece here. That big gap that they've got filled in there, that used to not be there. Where you see it's kind of open right there, that opening used to come all the way up to like here. So it was still getting trash in there on top of your boom and crushing it with that slider. The next thing you run into is underneath that slider is a bunch of lines that run up the backside of that boom. And they like to blow. And whenever they blow, it took 2 men, 3 men. It took 3 men, and eventually having to cap the line the best we could in the woods and track it out to our crane on our service truck to get that off. To get it lifted up, so I'm sorry, to get it lifted up enough to get the line off of the machine to change it that blew. It was horrible. It was a nightmare, pure nightmare. So that's a lot of what our biggest issues are with this machine is the debris. Nothing to do with the way it operates, nothing to do with the way the machine runs, cuts wood. It cuts plenty of wood for what we do. Can I cut more with the John Deere? Yeah, I believe I can, just because it has a larger head on it. If it had the same size head, that you put this head on that machine, and I honestly think they'd run basically stick for stick if you took the same operator and put them on there. Some other things to point out with this one, and this ain't really so much pros or cons. I'm gonna crawl up inside the machine. This first biggest thing that I don't like on one of the things they changed with the C models to the D models. There's no skylight. No skylight. You have a camera. This little screen there goes to this little camera that's down here in the door. And now that this machine has some age on it, you can't see through the windows. You can see through the windows, but that camera is such a poor quality camera. You can't even really make out silhouettes anymore on that camera screen. Big stripe in my book, because you can't see the top anymore. You can't see your tops, you can't see your forked trees, stuff like that. Next thing I don't care for, that is the pedal placement. They're too far apart. The pedals are too angled, and they're too far away. I'm gonna say they're too far away from the operator. They could be close. They could be as close as what they are, but they need to be flatter. And then the operator needs to be setting up a little bit at a different angle onto them. You can't really. Some people will tell you can, but I mean, you put your feet on them, and going forward is great, because you're supposed to cut going forward 90% of the time, and I get that. But in our industry down here, you're going to have to go backwards, and rolling these pedals backwards without moving your feet is like it strains the hell out of your calf muscle and the back of your thighs. You just about cannot run it like that. I have to anyway. When I want to go backwards, I have to take my feet off, put them down here like this, and work this way. So I'm doing a bunch of this throughout the day, because I mean, you're going frontwards and backwards a lot sometimes when you're thinning, you know, because I'll use the track sometimes to kind of help speed me up to a tree, or you know, something like that. And they're extremely hard to press compared to the John Deere pedals. These things are super stiff, and you run it for a few hours and you'll feel it real quick in your legs. It's stiff. So that's something that I don't care for. Another thing that I do like, I like how they have the controls over here on the sides. These are nice. I don't care for how close the joysticks are onto the seat. It crushes my legs together. As you can see, I am fat. I'm sure everyone has figured that out by now. All the Canadian people I've ever met are little bitty people. So I'm assuming that's why the seats aren't as big friendly, I guess you would say, because the machines are made in Canada. Other thing that I don't like is the joysticks. I like the joysticks themselves. They're basically the same thing that's in the John Deere machine. I love the button placement, everything like that. I love the trigger on the bottom down here to rotate your head. I love the way the stick fits your hand. I hate having so much travel in the stick. I mean, that's like 3 or 4 inches of play there in one direction. It, in a way, helps smooth you out, because you have more, you know, you have to move the stick further before you're wide open. But on the same token, I just hate having to move so much. I like how my John Deere, I'm just like, you know, it's just little bits, and that's the biggest thing people, I think, struggle with whenever they go to a John Deere, is they're coming from a Tigercat. They're used to so much play in a stick. They get about halfway down what would normally be halfway down on a Tigercat, and they're wide open on a John Deere, and then they panic and they turn loose the stick, and then it bounces and everything else, and it's yeah, it can be different from time to time. Let's see, what else do I love the radio system in here. You have 4 speakers in here. You got one up there, one over here, one up there, and then you have one back here above your head. It is all Jensen name brand. The radio's still in the same place they've always been in Tigercat. The Bluetooth stuff in it is really nice. It connects really easy. The air conditioning system is not as good as the John Deere, in my opinion. It just doesn't cool as well. The other thing that I love about the Tigercat is it actually has a, let me dig my keys out and show y'all, but it actually has a touchscreen monitor. The John Deere does not. The Tigercat also comes with a built-in cell phone holder, and that is super handy. But so y'all can see this. Super nice. I love the touch screen. I love the layout of the gauge cluster. I wish there was actual numbers underneath all of this, instead of just showing you that it's cold or hot or cold or hot or, you know, whatever. I would rather see, you know, the gauge here, and then I would like to see a number beside it. But if I actually wanted to see all of that, you know, there's plenty of information in this screen here. Turn the radio off or I get flagged. And then there's another, I'll just run y'all through all of the gauge clusters here and everything. There's just all kind of information that you got right here at your fingertips, your fuel and def consumptions and all this other. This is for the telematic stuff that they have, sending you information about the machine overnight, and then all of your main menu system stuff here that you can go through. You cannot change your hydraulic speeds and stuff. You cannot change your hydraulic speeds and stuff through the touch screen like you can on the other computer. I got a truck pulling up over there. I'm gonna have to go load it. But anyway, you can change a few things, not much. I love being able, the hydraulics don't get hot in the cab with you anymore. Your legs don't get hot. The seat doesn't get hot. You don't have hydraulic oil blowing in the cab with you with pilot lines going and blowing the oil out in the floor and ruining the floor. I hate that they don't have touchscreen yet. Hate it. I hate that everything is still push button. I absolutely hate it. I love that we still have a skylight. I love the visibility off the John Deere. I feel like I can see better off the John Deere. The John Deere is quieter. The John Deere is not quite as smooth in the hilly applications that I put it in. It is better balanced in the flat, swampy areas that I put it in versus my 822. My 822, it feels like you want to, you just all day long. Where with the 853, it's like the machine's a little more planted on the ground, and it's not that it falls in the ground any easier, because I can take the 822 and cut in the same wet ground that the 853 cuts in, and you know, vice versa. One doesn't do any better in the wet ground than me. I think that's an operator thing. I like on the Tigercat how in the heels the head is not as heavy as the FR50, and it doesn't pull the machine over. Like, you know, it wants to tip the back end of the machine up when you're cutting on the hill with the 853. I don't care for that. I love the pedals, the foot pedals in the John Deere machine. Those pedals are awesome. They're like working a knife through hot butter. I mean, a hot knife through butter. Your legs are not fatigued at the end of the day. Your calves aren't just cramped up. It's easy on the operator. I like the way the joysticks and the seat, it's the same seat from the Tigercat machine to the John Deere machine, but they have the joystick pods configured different on the John Deere, and it gives the operator more room, especially for a big guy like myself. I like that. Thumbs up. I don't like how John Deere flattens their seat out in their machine, and it feels like you're sliding out of it all day long. I put some bushings underneath mine and raise it up about 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches, and make it more comfortable for myself. And it's really similar to the Tigercat then. I do like how John Deere's seat airs straight up, straight down. Tigercat does that weird scissoring effect or whatever. I don't like that. Because by the time you get the seat aired up good enough to fit you, you're like shoving out of the seat. I don't like that. I love how short stroke the controls are on the John Deere. I mean, you're just doing this all day with your wrist all day. You're not doing back, forth, back, and it's like you're shoveling, you know, dirt around with a shovel or something. And the joysticks are still easy to move, where the Tigercat joysticks are a little bit stiffer to move because it's still pilot controlled. I still feel like I have all the control over the machine once I get it programmed in right. Major do not like from John Deere. This is major, and I've already spoken on this with my dad's 853. I do not like how they send them from the factory. I do not like how they send their machines out from the factory. Skidders, feller bunchers, rubber tires, and tracks. I can't speak on their loaders because the last loader I dealt with from John Deere was not electric over hydraulic yet. They send them out of the factory with settings so wonky in it, the average operator gets in it, most especially somebody coming from a Tigercat machine. They're going to get on it and they're going to run it for about 30 minutes and they're going to get off and tell y'all that it is the biggest piece of crap they have ever seen in all their life. I have seen it at least 5 times in my area within an hour distance of my home base. I don't like that. I've had a couple people already message me, man, I bought this new machine, or I'm demoing this new machine. Most of them's demoed. I'm demoing this new machine, and it ain't nothing like what you talk about with yours. It ain't nothing like how you talk about how your skidder does this or does that. They send them out from the factory with one set of settings in them, and then, at least for my area, and I've seen a few other people talk about this as well, they'll send them out to the dealers, and the dealers will deliver them and just drop them off and not tell anybody anything about the machine. They're like, the dealership is telling us, well, we want to give y'all a couple of days to kind of feel the machine out and make sure, you know, kind of let you learn the machine yourself. Okay, cool, great. But you take somebody that has never had a John Deere machine, just let him drive up. You see, there's Tigercat, all Tigercat stuff. There's Tigercat rotor tire sitting over there. All right, say I've never had a John Deere piece of equipment in all my life. You drop that brand new track shear off for me, or a rubber tire off for me, or a skidder, and the Tigercat stuff, when it unloads off the lowboy, right to work. It don't miss a beat. There's no having to adjust this, adjust that. Everything is set, and it goes right to work to its maximum potential right then. The John Deere stuff, you're gonna spend an easy, if you know what you're doing, 30 minutes going through the computer, turning this, adjusting that. It's aggravating having to do it. But you take it to someone's job that has never seen that before, they don't know that stuff is in there. They don't know how to work it. Your average logger, your average operator is not going to understand that computer well enough to want to monkey with it. They're going to be afraid of messing something up and costing their job, so they'll either adapt to the machine, or they'll bring it back out and tell, hey boss, this machine ain't worth buying. I would not purchase this machine at all. You've lost a sale. That is my biggest gripe with John Deere. If I would not know how, by working with them over the years, of how to go through the computers and make sure everything is set right to make it feel like a pilot controlled machine and everything else like I want to feel a machine work, I wouldn't have bought that 853. I wouldn't have. No, I wouldn't have. And it was about that close for my dad not buying the 853 that he purchased because of that same issue. So that's my biggest gripe with John Deere. Other pros with John Deere that I like. Now this is just talking about the 853 here. I love the serviceability that the machine has built into it. It has huge access points built into the machine. You open the hood up, you open a few doors, take a couple panels off. There's not a machine on the line, a line on the machine that I have come across yet that I could not access both ends of it easily. Some of them have been a little difficult, but I would still say that they were easily accessed. I don't like on Tigercat, their lines are somewhat easy, but y'all, servicing that thing is a nightmare. God, it is a nightmare. Y'all have no idea. When I'm speaking on servicing, I mean like if the line blows. Line blowing is horrible. Fixes anywhere underneath the hood compartment. It's a nightmare. Especially if it's been worked for a little while and it's got some debris built up in it. Extra nightmare. What else about the John Deere? The John Deere tracks are stronger. The John Deere track's a little slower than the Tigercat. The booms are a little slower as well, but they're way stronger. The swing is way faster. The swing is way stronger. The 360 or the 340 degree wrist, which Tigercat offers that as well, I can't speak on theirs, but I can take stuff and stand it back up with the wrist on the John Deere that I can't reach out and heel it back up. You know, like if I drop a tree and try to pick it back up, I can't pick it straight up with the wrist. I have to take the wrist and grab the tree and spin it back up with the rotators. Tigercat is not as strong to me comparing to the 853. Turn y'all around here and let y'all just watch the loader for a second now. The 853 holds the wood in the head better. Not that it holds more wood, because that is an unfair judgment. It holds the wood better in the head. It'll it doesn't pull the arms open as bad. If you go to maxing out the head capacity on the 822, it'll tangle the tops up, and then it will pull the arms back open on the bunching saw. I don't like that. The John Deere does not do that. The John Deere does not have the issues with lines blowing because things are rubbing and chafing on themselves. The 822Cs had some issues, but the D models are way worse. Y'all hadn't figured it out yet. I really love the C model track cutters that Tigercat had. Like really, really, really loved them. They were my go-to machine. And then they took them away. But anyway, what else was it? I'm trying to think here. I love the window that is in the front of the 853 better. It's thicker, it doesn't bounce as much, and it seems like it makes the machine quieter to run. The debris does not get on the 853. It gets on it, but it gets right back off. It don't get inside the machine, if that makes sense. It stays on the exterior of the machine. They're both great machines. The Tigercat has a lot of more wiring issues. Ours has a lot more wiring issues, hose chafing issues. Like I said, all the debris issues that we've had with it. I can't say, I mean, I can tell y'all I don't like the machine and call it a piece of shit because I don't like working on the stuff. But I can't stand here and actually like fully knock Tigercat because, like I said, they have stood behind our 822 pretty hard, even though it has been a complete pile of crap. They have stuck with the machine really well as far as taking care of everything that they said they would take care of on it. But oh, he just slew his chain. I bet he's a cussing in there. Anyway, it's just hard for us to do business with Tigercat whenever they wouldn't work with us on getting the, just taking this old one in. They wouldn't. To my knowledge, I may be speaking out here, but what I was told is Tigercat just would not work with us on replacing the 822 with another 822 with all the new updates and everything they say they have to fix them. They just wouldn't take it in and fix it. So, like I said, they did put a new motor in it. They've stood behind every wiring issue, every hydraulic hose issue that we have been able to prove was a debris-related issue. John Deere took pretty good care of it so far. They completely swapped out machines whenever that new motor let go in that new 853 Dad was buying. So yeah, they all have their perks, they all have their flaws. I just personally prefer the 853 because it's stronger, and it's more consistent. It's like I said, it's got almost 2,700 hours on it. It's got over 2,700 hours. It's probably got 28 and a half on it now, hour wise. I see no issues on making it to 4,000 hours. It may surprise me, but I don't see any issues to make me think that our rails won't last to 4,000 hours, and that's without tri-rail, and that is just phenomenal. Our Tigercat machine with tri-rail made it to 4,600 hours and had to have a track job on it. So yeah, this is going to be a long video from what I can see here. This is like we're gonna be knocking 40 minutes, so yeah, we're gonna go ahead and try and wrap this one up. If y'all have other questions, feel free to ask. I'm trying to remember everything off the top of my head here that y'all may would ask and whatnot. I think I've covered everything pretty well. The Tigercat undercarriage used to seem to last better than the John Deere. Not seem to. It without a doubt seems to last better. If you buy the 803, it without a doubt, the 822 has a better undercarriage than the 803. The 803 just has too small of an undercarriage. That's why we went with the 853. That and a couple other reasons. It has some better plumbing with hoses and wiring and stuff like that, and you got the dedicated tracking as well. And you kind of think on that too. You're comparing dedicated tracking to a non-dedicated tracking machine. The 822 just does not have the tracking effort that the dedicated tracking has on the 853. I can get on either machine and produce the wood that I need cut. I enjoy running the John Deere better. The insides of the Tigercat are a nicer quality built machine. It feels like you're more inside of a luxury pickup truck or something like that, with the way that all the plastic and everything is molded. The John Deere still feels like you're on a machine. The audio system in the Tigercat, like I said, is way better. Some people may kind of look at that, oh, it's just a radio. Well, you're in there for 8, 10, 12 hours at a time, and that's your form of entertainment. I like to have something nice to listen to on the radio. So but anyway, and then, like, you know, John Deere also has Timbermatic now and JD Link. I know not I guess you say Timbermatic. Used to be Timber Navi, and then JD Link, and then you had the telematics stuff from Tigercat. That don't really show you like production and stuff. It keeps you up to date with machine issues and stuff. I guess you say like boost pressures, and you know, if it's running hot, any code, stuff like that. So yeah, they all have their perks, they all have their flaws. As I've said probably 10 times prior in this video, my favorite is just the John Deere. My operator that I have out here, his favorite is the John Deere. The new track cutter on Dad's job, just because it don't break down so much, the operator out there would prefer the John Deere. So I mean, y'all can take it for what it's worth. I'm just a logger, and that's the machine that I prefer to run. That's just, I like working, doing business with the John Deere people. The Tigercat people just didn't make me feel as welcome. Did their machine used to outlast John Deere? Shoot, yeah, man. Like I said, until 3 years ago, 4 years ago, you couldn't give me John Deere equipment. Could not give it to me. They're both quality machines as far as feather bunchers go, track feather bunchers go. Will the John Deere last 16, 18, 30,000 hours like the Tigercat? I don't know. I don't plan on keeping a machine past about 10,000. If I go to getting 10,000 hours on a track cutter, that's my primary source of cutting. I got to get rid of it and get something newer to make sure I keep wood on the ground ahead of my skidders. Will the John Deere loaders ever last like the Tigercat? No, in my opinion, no. Will the new John Deere skidders last? What we're seeing, they're lasting way better than the H models. Are they as good as like the C model Tigercat stuff I had? I don't quite think so. Are they as good as the E model stuff that I have so far? Yes, I believe the John Deere L series and the Tigercat E series machines are on flip a coin. It's gonna come down to who do you enjoy doing business with, and who do you how comfortable, what machine feels most comfortable to you. So anyway, that's my thoughts and everything on the comparison of the 822 and 853. I'm trying to get a few little small clips and mix some. I'll mix some of the racing stuff in. And as y'all can see, I kind of fly by night here on planning this stuff out. But I'll add in a little something to kind of break this up a little bit, so it's not so monotonous standing here watching me talk. But I hope y'all enjoyed that. This should be a pretty informative video instead of just a let's watch some equipment work. Kind of give y'all my mindset, my opinion, my thought process when it comes to the track cutter stuff. Who knows? We may do the skidder next or something. There's not much to compare. Like I said, it's flip a coin. And I'm not much of a skidder. I can run them, but I'm not like, I don't understand skid. I understand them. I don't have 13 years of seat time in a skidder like I have a track fill buncher. So anyway, hope y'all enjoyed it. Thank y'all all for watching. All the new people, welcome aboard. We've grew like crazy in the past 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It's awesome. Anybody who's watching that's not subscribed, man, hit that subscribe button. It means a lot to me. I don't make anything off of that or anything like that. It just the subscription stuff just helps get YouTube to push me more, and I get more exposure and everything like that. It's not like I'm making money off of y'all subscribing, but if y'all would subscribe for me, that's pretty much it. Hope y'all enjoyed it. We'll catch y'all in a couple of days or something.